Our topic today, 10 years after landmark agreement among WTO governments to open telecommunications services trade, what has the impact been on governments, on consumers, and on businesses, and what has this meant for developing countries? We're fortunate to have two experts with us today. Daniel Annerose, the Chief Executive of Manobi, a information services company based in Senegal. Welcome. And José Rizek, the Executive Director of Indotel, the telecoms regulator in the Dominican Republic. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Daniel, I'd like to start with you if I could. 10 years since the telecoms protocol has been put into place, what has the impact been for your business and businesses like yours?
I don't think if I will focus on my own business, but I think the most amazing thing which happened during this 10 years is the fact that the mobile phone now is used largely by everybody, I must say, around the world. And mostly in developing countries, a very interesting thing is that the lowest incomes people can use and can have access to the mobile phone. And I think that is possible because the market has been liberalized, has been regulated, and the mobile operators find some good ways to sell their services and give access to the network to every part of the population today. I just want to give a very interesting story that we had in Senegal, for instance. I remember in 2000, we were working on a project to give access to fishermen, to give service to fishermen. And fishermen, we discussed with the artisan fishermen, and they say, okay, look, we have a big issue. It's a security issue, a safety issue. We can call in case of any problem on sea, or we can be rescued. And many of us die because of this. And we went to discuss with the mobile operator and discuss with him and say, what is the problem? Why don't you cover the territorial part of sea, which is under your responsibility? And say, yes, because we don't know where is the market. And we start to work with the mobile operator locally, which is named Sonatel, and we say, okay, look, if we extend your networks, then we will provide value-added services which will make your investment profitable with this population. And we work with mobile supplier, equipment supplier, which is Alcatel. We work with Sonatel, with the support of the World Bank. And finally, we put in place a system, a long-range BTS system, which covers 35 kilometers far from the land in the sea, which corresponding to where the fishermen used to go. And we made that in one point. And finally, the second operator came and said, okay, look, if it works for you, then I will do the same also. And now I will put my BTS on the beach, and I will work on this long-range BTS station. So I think the very good thing is that we demonstrate during these 10 years access is something which can be very profitable for mobile operators. You can have a very nice ecosystem if it is associated with services, valued services, which can also address the question of the economic question, but also the social improvement issue of underserviced population in developing country. And this is for me, the next challenge for the next 10 years is to develop this market, to make it growing and give more people, which are mostly poor people right now in these developing countries, having access to this technology and to the content associated to these technologies.
Jose, from a regulatory standpoint, how has the landscape changed in the last 10 years?
It has changed dramatically. The telecommunications agreement within the WTO has been the big enabler of the telecommunications revolution that we have lived over the past 10 years. We are talking about that the agreement went into effect in 1998, and it was meant to open markets, to liberalize markets, to attract new investment. And what we have seen over in the last decade has not been only a revolution in terms of investment that has transformed most of the developing countries' economies, but at the same time has enabled, as Daniel just said, the consumers to receive better services, better quality of services, and the countries have benefited from an immense amount of torrent of foreign investment, which of course have helped underdeveloped economies. I would say that regulation has at the same time benefited from that, because we are looking now at regulation which is more light-handed. We see regulation more exposed in terms of establishing obligations before the operators come in. We are seeing regulation that serves more as a control on competitive behavior. So when we analyze the WTO agreements on telecommunications, we can only see that the future in those agreements or the future will be based on those agreements. What we have built over the last 10 years, the internet, the mobile phone penetration, the increase of operators, the increase of investment, national and foreign, we can only say that we need a second round of agreements to start preparing the world for this next decade.
You mentioned, Daniel, that you're looking to the challenges of the future. Do you agree with Jose that if you were to have to build on the existing agreements with further liberalization, further opportunity, that this could have benefit for consumers and businesses in Africa?
Yeah, I think that maybe I'm wrong, but you will correct me, Jose. I think that the first round was mostly concerned by what I can say infrastructure extension, coverage.
That's correct.
And I think we reach a stage where now we want to talk about service, access to service, which means contents as well as infrastructure. And I think this is where the challenge is, and where we need some regulation. What will be the priority, or the priorities, in fact? Is it telecommunication as a technology, or is it telecommunication as a tool to ensure the development of the country, or to ensure the welfare of all the citizens in the country? So this is a very important issue. I don't know, Jose, you can interact on this.
It's actually what you say. What we're looking at now, it's how you transform or potentiate that well-being. It's a matter of not looking into building infrastructure, which you can, of course, complete at any time that you deem necessary, but how to incorporate the information society, the world and our societies into the knowledge society, the knowledge economy. How we transform what the world has discussed in the World Summit of Information Society into reality. How do we actually bridge the digital divide? How do we bring access to those less fortunate? And that's how we need to start shaping these agreements. These agreements have to now depart from the basic infrastructure that they help build and look into more how you build the services, how you build the knowledge, the intelligence in those networks, so those networks can actually help not only bridge the digital divide, but help bring inefficiencies and inequities to an end.
Yeah, I think that we have an opportunity today to just start from the main priorities of a country. Let's talk about Senegal, for instance. If we say, okay, 70% of the population live in rural areas, most of them are depending on agriculture, and if we want to change their life, we want to help them to improve their role in their value chain. So they need to interact with their customers, they have to interact with their suppliers, so they need services, and how they can have access to these services. Response could be the mobile network. So at this stage, there is a role for the regulator to stimulate with a good idea of what could be the business for the citizen, but also for the mobile operator to stimulate and to put in place the regulation environment which will facilitate the extension of the network and which will facilitate the service provision by the service providers.
And it's important to do that, to transform the tools that we have to ensure universal access. Universal access obligations that, as they were portrayed 10 years ago, is not what we're needing or what our countries are needing right now. We have to make sure that the funds, the resources that 70% of them are in banks or in the financial sector, actually starts flowing into the telecommunications sector, but most than the telecommunications sector, investments in rural areas and disadvantaged areas.
Daniel, final thoughts.
Finally, so I think we are on a good. I'm an optimistic person, so I think that we are on the good way. I think that if we want to reach that level of situation where the telecommunication will play, I can say, the role of improving the life of people, we have to think about facilitating this development of an economy of service providers. And I will put also the operator within the service providers. They give access to service to access to the communication network. And we need contents. We need local contents adapted to the local requirements of the communities that we want to serve. And that's, I think it's a nice opportunity to develop small and medium enterprise, which will be in charge to provide these services locally. It's a nice opportunity for mobile operators to have access to new clients that will never be able to reach today because they don't have the knowledge of the agricultural sector or the health sector. And I really think that there is a role for the regulator to facilitate this kind of relationships, this kind of, as I say, the building of this ecosystem, which will be profitable for everyone involved in this organization.
Jose, you have the last word.
Well, we have to look into past success to build a brighter future. We need to build on what we have achieved so far. New technologies are breaking through in the markets, are changing the way regulators and governments approach the regulation actually of the telecommunications sector. And we have to use those technology as enablers of changes in our marketplaces. We need to use technology for the good of people. We have to get the benefits out of those new technologies and invest it in the people in order to reduce disadvantages, in order to reduce inequalities that we still have in the world, and most of all, to use those new technologies to continue to push forward in the development of the sector.
Two different perspectives on the future of international telecommunications services. I'd like to thank both of our guests for appearing on the program, and thank you for watching WTO Forum.